Okay, after a slight interruption, we are ready to begin again. So I've got my card done, and now I'm going, my color's done, so now I'm going to go around the edges with my black soot. And I'm just going to barely hit the edges. I don't want to really add that color. I just want to add a frame. Alright, now we have our darkened frame. We still have our colors, our bright colors in there. So I'm going to move these out of the way. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the crest. And I'm using archival ink on this because I forgot a step. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz and flick. I'm going to spritz water on my fingers and I'm going to flick it onto my tag. And that's going to cause the ink to react in random ways. And so now while that's drying, I'm going to get my stamp ready. Okay, that's one reason why I use archival ink, in case I get any more moisture on there. I don't want it to react. And if I use distress ink, it might react if I still had some moisture on my tag when I decided to stamp it. So I'm going to ink this up with black archival ink. This is my favorite way to ink large stamps. I like to turn the stamp straight up and stamp the pad to put the pad to the stamp instead of the other way around. And then, and it is a little wet still, so that's our reason for using archive. So then I'm going to set it down this way, and I'm going to hold on to the tag with one hand and I'm going to press with the other hand, and this is my best way of making sure that I get all of the parts of a large stamp evenly distributed on the material. Lift it straight up and have a really nice stamped image. Now I'm also going to take the banner that is a part of that stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it onto some cardstock. Well, I've lost my cardstock, so I'm just going to use some manila, another manila tag. That's okay. I'm going to ink it up the same way. And I'm going to stamp it the same way. Always make sure that you're holding one hand holding the surface still so that it doesn't move around, and you get a really a lot better image that way. So then I'm going to cut it out. Now I do have Stamp to Cut, and I do have an eclipse, and I do have this Stamp to Cut image, but I wanted to show this way of cutting it out because not everybody does have that, have the eclipse and the Stamp to Cut images. So I just wanted to show you that it's really kind of simple. It's not so difficult to do. Okay, and I'm just going to go across there, and then I'm going to cut a V and meet at the middle. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm basically getting the large, easier parts cut first. Okay. Just a few more seconds here. And let's get this last part. When you're cutting intricate details, you want to turn your paper rather than your scissors, and you'll get a much cleaner cut. Okay. Now I'm going to bring over my skull as well. Oh my goodness, I did leave a big part of this uncut, didn't I? Now we're finished with that part. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to use the seedless preserves on the skull. And I'm going to cover that up. You can make it as dark as you want it. I got mine pretty dark because I have a nice contrast with the lime green stickles on it. Okay, and we'll set that aside to dry up a little bit. And then for the banner, I'm going to do the same procedure that I did on the tag. I'm going to start out with the green, and because I don't want to tear it, I'm just pouncing more than anything. Move to the right persimmon, some of that here and there, and then come back with the seedless preserves on the edge. Oops, picked up the wrong one. That's the black soot. There we go. And get a little bit of that in there. You don't want to isolate your color anywhere. You want it all throughout. Try not to lose your light color with your green. And then you can go around the edges with black soot as well on this. Okay, so we've got our coloring done. And our stamping. And now let's put this together. I'm going to take some pop dots, and a thing that I like really well about pop dots, and I don't know why for so long I didn't realize this until I saw someone show me on a video, that you shouldn't throw away all the little parts of your pop dot grid once you've used all the circles inside of it, because this stuff is very useful too. And especially when you have some wide, odd shaped areas. So I'm going to use those sections to pop up my skull, and I'm going to put him just a little bit askew right there. And then I'm going to take my banner and do the same thing. I'm going to cut some of my outside edge pieces. You know, it's okay to use these because you're not going to see them unless you put it on there crooked like I just did. Okay, and we need a couple more sections down here. So this helps everything to do double duty, and makes your pop dot stash last a lot longer. Okay, so then we're gonna, oops, I have some showing. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to put this also at an angle right here. I have a little bit of pop dot showing, and I'm not going to take time to fix that now, but you would want to be a little more careful than that when you're doing this part of it using the scraps. Okay, and I'm going to take stickles, and I'm going to run a line all across the top of this banner. Starting to run out. Oh, I might be out. Well, my goodness. There we go. Okay, just enough. And then I'm going to take lime green stickles, and I'm going to outline the skull. Get that started. You want your stickles to be just about the last thing that you do. And after I outline the outside of the skull, I'm going to also outline the eye and nose openings. And that really makes that purple pop against the lighter part of the background of the tag too. Have a lot of nice contrast going there. And then you want to take some letter stickers, or you could stamp a sentiment on that banner if you want. But I took, I have several different stashes of letter stickers, and I found one, let's see, I have this one that says funky. If I can get the sticker part off of there so I can stick it on. And I'm going to stick that up here. And then I have, but how about, I have a weird sense of humor. We could put Kindred on there, Funky Kindred. And when the stickles dry, I went over the stickers in the same colors that I have on there. So you want to wait till your stickles dry, or do it first. And then what I did for the ties is, well, I'll just get some more out. I just took a small piece of all three colors because I couldn't choose which colors I wanted to use, so I just used them all. And well, can't find the end of that one. There we go. And then I stuck them through the hole and tied them up. Well, purple didn't want to go through with the rest of them. So I'll take my end of my scissors and poke that inside. There we go. I think. Yep. And then just tie them together. You can add other embellishments to this if you want to, but it's kind of funny and funky, just like it is. Okay, and that's our tag for Monday Musings, and I hope that you will try out these stamps. You know, I I love these stamps. I wasn't sure when I first got it just quite what I'd use them for, but they just really look really nice when they're used, and they stamp up so well. And just, experiment with your stamps. I'll see you next Monday.